right, hello once again. Jeff Scott from Jeff Teaches Programming. Yes, I know it's been a while, about almost a month. Give you a lot of reasons, but I'm not going to. The last video that we did, we pretty much finished up what we've been working on. Let's go back here. This is our first iteration of the payroll GUI. And just so you see it, this is what it looks like. It's got a little explanation here, and then you can go to a help screen, which is just a message box, or you can go to an hourly worker, a piece worker, a commission worker, and a salary worker, or you can exit. So if you go to hourly, that's what you put in, and it is, I've done this before, I'm not going to go over it again other than to say if I put in 50 and 20, hit enter, 1100, that is correct. All right. So if I go then to a commission worker and I say that they're making 25% and they have $1,000, that should be $250, and it is. We go to piece worker. Oh, that's not right. That should have been pieces made, but well, that's fine. We'll fix that in a second. All right. So if we say pieces made were 50 and the price per piece is 0.5, that should be $25, and it is. Finally, salaried, if we say that you're making 5.67, that's your salary. Everything works. All right. I can go back to the startup. I can exit, etc. And what was that one? It was the piece worker that was wrong. Let's fix that real quick here. So let's bring up the piece worker. A lot of stuff open here. All right, so that was the piece worker. There should be pieces made, and I've got price per piece. So let's just change that to pieces made. Okay, we'll just do that. That's the only change I'm going to make. Let's run the program again. Go back to piece worker, and there it is now where it should be. Okay, let's go to hourly, where it should be, commission worker, where it should be, salaried, where it should be. All right, everything is now working. But what you may have noticed if you took the time to watch this last video is there's a lot of repetition in here. So I'm going to now attempt to go in and change some of that. So let me close this. Close that, close this. And we've got first iteration pay GUI right here. And there is no second iteration pay GUI here, but we're going to make one right now. So I'm going to come back here. Here's my, somewhere in here is my first iteration pay GUI. There it is. I'm going to copy and I'm going to paste. And that will now be second iteration pay GUI. You may or may not remember this, but there's two things in here I want to change now. The first is I want to come in here and is it this one? No, I don't even remember. Let's open this. No, that's not what I want to do. I'm sorry. We'll fix it right away. All right. So let's see. Yeah, it's been a while for the instructor also, so and that's okay. Let's go to this file. The let's open this. All right, so this is now going to have to be second, as will this. So let's save that, close that. Let's change the title of this to second iteration Pay GUI. So that all looks good. Let's come back to our programs here. Remember, it's not going to be showing in here. We didn't bring it in yet, so we don't have a second iteration Pay GUI right now, but we're going to bring that in. All right, so let's go back up here to our solution, and let's add an existing project. And now we're going to go back in and find the one that we just made, which again is second iteration Pay GUI. So right here, we'll bring in that, and there it is. So hopefully, at least, if I come in here and I set it as my startup project and run it, it's going to look just like it did before. Okay. All right, so that's instead of saying version 01, I got to change that to version 02. Yes, I want to exit. So we're going to do a few things here. It's telling me I got an old version, which I do, and that's okay. We're going to just stick with that. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do, as I always do, good, bad, or indifferent, is I'm going to come in here and I'm going to change the color of all those forms. So I'm going to make that purplish. Okay, so that's the first one. And again, I'm going to have to make a lot of changes in here, so let me just bring up the commission. I'm just going to do all these right away. Again, by no means do I have to do this. I'm doing this because it gives me a way to differentiate between different things that are in here. So, and I should have also come into the last one. Let me fix this quick. But let's change that to version 2. So that's the text we want to change here. We want that to say version 02. Boom, it's changed. Let's go back to the original one here and let's change that to version 2 as well. It's one of the reasons that I change the color each time. So that's done. So let's just do a file save all for right now. And we've got commission. Let's go to hourly here. Might even be better in this case if I made the back or the text color white, but I'm just going to leave it the way it is. Let's change this to version 2 as well. So that's done. Let's bring up the piece worker. And finally, let's bring up the salaried worker. Okay, let's just do it like this. Let's get rid of these two. It's not liking this because I'm combining things, but we'll fix it right now. What's going on here? Let's see. All right, let's highlight these three. There we go. The background color is what I want to change. Probably could have kept that up there and just, it's okay. All right, so right now, all that I've done, literally all that I have done, is I have come in here and changed colors. All right. But as I mentioned before, and I'm not going to run through it right now, but there's a lot of, it's not exactly duplication in here, but there's a lot of things in here that are very similar. The code that we're writing to do a lot of this stuff is very similar. So what I'm planning on doing here, and I do have some notes that I've prepared, is the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make some changes into my ValidationBoth library. So what do I mean? What am I doing? Well, what I want to do is I want to be able to have one routine in here that I'm not using right now. Remember, the stuff that was written in here was written for earlier versions. So I've got, for example, public static, and I've got, let's see, check for input exists. Is there input? Is in 32, etc. So I've got a lot of that stuff, but I'm going to write some more in here right now. And if you say why, again, I'd have to go through and clean up this library as I get going. All right, but first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put in this. And this is going to be a generic function to validate decimal input. All right, and after I do that, because I'm just going to move it down here, I'm going to write another one that's going to validate integer input. All right, so we can call this whatever we want, but I don't think I have one. So let's see, public static bool, and we'll call this validate decimal input. And I hope I don't have one by that name already. We'll find out in a second. And it's going to have quite a few things that we're going to put in here for it. Now look, it's saying here, it says it must declare a body because it is not marked as abstract, etc. So we're going to put that in. For now, let's just put that in. Okay, so we have declared a body. Not all paths return a value. So for now, let's just say return true. All right, that got rid of all the errors. Let's go into this other one here. It's going to give us an error, but I'm going to change that to validate integer input. Okay, so now I've got two working functions that don't do anything basically other than just return true. Of course, we want them to do more than that. All right, so let's come in here and let's write some parameters. I'll have text box, and that's going to be txt box. It'll be whatever thing I put in here. We're going to have a string that's going to be the field name. We're going to have a decimal that's going to be for some kind of a minimum, another decimal that's going to be some kind of a maximum. And out of this, if it all works, value. Now, if you notice in here, I'm getting an error, and the reason that I'm getting an error now is because I'm not using anything with that value. All right, but I want to be able to go in, and now I don't want it to matter which text box I'm using. So I'm going to say string input equals txt box dot text, and let's make sure it's empty dot trim. So we'll trim any blank spaces out of there. All right, so first check for no inputs. So if string dot is null or white space input, so if there's nothing in there, all right, I'm going to call a routine that I'm going to write in a little bit. So don't worry that this is going to give an error. Show error. And it'll say whatever the field name is. that it can't be empty. Okay, so it can't be empty, and we're going to call another routine reset and set focus. Oops, and set focus. These are all routines we're going to write in just a minute. So if we get errors, don't worry about it. To the text box, and we'll return false. All right. Okay, now it's giving us some errors in here. Okay. Show error doesn't exist, and that's what it's telling us. Reset and set focus doesn't exist, so it's telling us. And this return, it says the value must be assigned before it leaves the current method. Well, we're going to do that next. So here we checked for no input. Now we're going to check for non-decimal input. All right, so if we're not able to parse this into a decimal, all right, well, again, we know that it's an error. So let's just grab everything that let's grab, what did I just do? We're going to grab everything that we did up here. We'll just change the error message. All right, so rather than say it cannot be empty, must be a decimal value. All right. All right. Finally, we're going to do a range check. So range check. So if that parsed that we just did up here, right there. Looking at my notes here, something looks a little off. Oh, you know what I didn't do up here? That's why I'm getting all these errors. So when we start, we're just going to set value equal to 0M. All right, because that got rid of a bunch of the errors that we had. Now the errors that we have left are for show error and reset focus, which we haven't written yet, but we are going to very, very, very shortly. So again, this is a range check. So if it's out of range, again, we'll grab this and we'll change the error message. And now that I look at it, you know, we're doing everything in here every time. We're doing this, reset, etc. We might be able to knock that down too. Must be between in fact, let's not even do that. We'll just, since we have the dollar sign, yep. Min and max. Okay. If we get down to here, all checks have passed. Assign parsed to value. Now, what I'm going to do real quickly here, we got that validate integer input. I'm going to close that. Okay, I'm going to just come in here and do a public static. So what is this? Show error. And what are we going to need in here? We'll just, yeah, we'll do that. That's what they're showing here, string message. Okay, public static, that's going to be a void. That should get rid of all, yep, all those errors are now gone. So we also want to public static void, what do we call that? Reset. Set focus. And we'll say text box. And we're not going to do anything. It's a void. So for now, we'll just leave it empty. Now, all my errors are gone. Okay? Now, I haven't fixed it all yet. I haven't written the other ones yet, but everything else is done. So, let's grab everything that we've got here, and I mean everything. So that's from the paren on. Now don't worry. Again, if we get errors, don't worry about it. Okay. So where these are decimal, these are now going to be ints. Okay. So the value will have to be just 0, not 0m. This is going to have to be an int dot try parse, and that'll have to be int. And I think at least that's everything I need to do. Again, we might be able to take that and cut that down as well. All right, so we've got those done. Now, wanted to check something out here in my own code. Okay, I've got my hide and show where I have my form to hide and my show, that's good. So we again need to write show error here. Let's write this. So let's just do a message box dot show, and we'll show the message, and we'll say the following error occurred. All right. And we will put in a message box OK. And since it's an error, we'll say that. All right. Now, I've got message here. I should have just said message. There. So that one's fixed. Now this set, this is going to be txt box dot clear and txt box dot focus. Whoops. Okay. Now, to my knowledge, let's just do this. Let's do a file, save all. Let's go back to the form itself, our main form that's in here. Right there. And all I want to do is run it and make sure I didn't break anything. Plus, it gives us a chance. There's purple, 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 purple. As far as I know, everything's cool. All right, so I've got those done now. All right, so now we have to go in and make our changes to hourly. to piece worker, to commission worker, and to salaried worker. And let's see where I am for time. I'm at 25 minutes. So I think rather than starting it all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop right here. And when I come back, I'm going to do at least 2 of these, and if possible, more. All right. Then I'm going to do the other 2 if I have to, or more if I, whatever. And then I'm going to go and push everything over to my GitHub repository. All right. After we get done with that, I'm going to show you a little shortcut that's going to introduce us into what we'll be talking about, but not talking about next. All right. Not to confuse you. After we get done with this one, we're going to put these programs away for just a little bit. And we're going to talk about the concept of what are known as arrays. Neither of these programs, in my humble opinion, are great things to use for arrays. Could we use them? Yes. Are we going to? No. I've got 2 programs that I've already written that I think will better explain the concept of arrays to you. So that's what we have to look forward to. I'll be back again to make our changes to our hourly, then our piece worker, then our commission, then our salaried worker, and I'll do that shortly. See you then.